is that we've become a community of overlapping communities. I just got to spend 2 days at Sufi Camp and Aptos at the UU Center with a number of us who are here, and we're all pretty drunk on Allah still, from chanting and singing in circles. And that's one of the communities that's been here. And as you know, we share space with Chadesh Yameinu, and the Jewish Renewal community that shares space with us and has their services here. And we also are an overlapping circle sharing with Innerlight. And we are one family. We are one people working towards one vision for a world that works for everyone. And I just know that we are all one. We are all in this together. And, Reverend Deborah Johnson was one of my teachers in ministerial school. There's a lot of things that come out of my mouth that I heard over here first. So let's hear it from the source. I want to invite up my friend and teacher and colleague and someone that I look up to and love so very much, Reverend Deborah Johnson.
Greetings everyone. Feel like just to be a little bit more historically correct, instead of like you sharing us like with Innerlight got birthed out of here. So not many, but if like a few of you were part of the founding of Innerlight. This was my first pulpit, not like officially, but essentially I was an interim minister here and a practitioner. So it keeps going. It keeps going round and round. And on that note, before I get started, I've been saying for some time that I contend that the new denomination is not what we have thought of before, which is sort of a hierarchy of people within a single line of theology. That the new denomination is a network. It's a cross-section that's coming from many different aspects and many different angles. And I am very pleased to say this pledge that we were saying about what CSL believes and that is really growing and expanding. And I'm very honored about 10 days from now to be on a panel at the Parliament of the World Religions in Chicago with the new head of CSL. And there's I don't know, I think we have maybe 20 workshops and panels that have been accepted by the Parliament. And the New Thought movement has the second largest contingency coming to the Parliament of coming together across all the groups. And just the panel that I'm on has the head of CSL, has the head of the Agape Ministries, Michael Beckwith, has the head of the Universal Foundation for Better Living, Johnny Coleman's group with Reverend Sheila McKeithen, and the new head of the Hillside communities. And we're going to be talking about living out loud and being affirming on gender and sexual identity issues in spiritual community, and I'm personally going to be addressing the issue of non-binary. So we are moving, and I'm saying that not just as an advertisement, but I really want to tie this in to my message about purpose, about passion and purpose. I always go from the macro to the micro to the individual to the collective. I want to spend most of my time talking about the collective. But on the personal note, I want to put a little balance to what I think we often hear about this relationship between passion and purpose. Find what you love to do and go out there and like make that happen. Well, we tend to think of the purpose as my future. Like, what is this ahead of me to do? I contend you're going to find your purpose in your past. Let me explain to you what I mean. Purpose is a revelation. It's a revelation. It's when the dots start to connect of what already has happened in your life. And if you really want to find your purpose, go back. Go back to your most challenging things, the most challenging times of your life, and ask yourself, what was the divine lesson? What was the lesson that I learned at that time? And you'll see a pattern. You'll see a pattern there. We tend to think of purpose as the outer expression, this particular thing that we're here to do, but that particular thing is just the representation of an underlying spiritual quality. So what is that spiritual quality that you're here to be the pure embodiment of as your purpose, and see how you have been learning how to be that through every hard thing in your life? Maybe your purpose is about healing. Maybe your purpose is about compassion. Maybe yours is about growth or empowerment. I don't know what your purpose is. But what I am telling you is that your purpose is often born out of your pain. So if we're just looking to find our purpose within the happy stuff of what we're passionately happy to do, you're going to miss your purpose. Because your purpose is going to take you through some places you don't want to be in. But in being in it, you will be fortified, you'll get the muscle, and you will get the tools that you will need. See, you can't lead people through territory you haven't gone through. So Spirit will take you into places that you need to go through so you can get the skills to help other people go through that same territory. So don't berate anything in your life. Every hurt, every pain, every divorce, every molestation, every addiction, every incarceration, everything that you are embarrassed or ashamed about, trying to run away from, surrender it. Put it on the altar for the alchemy of the divine to transform, transmute it into something that's going to be a blessing and part of your unique ministry. Don't run away from your purpose because it ain't pretty. No. When I talk about those hard places that happen there, there's this phenomena, I call it growing up in the Pharaoh's house. And let me tell you what I mean by that, and relate to the collective purpose moment that I think that we're all in. So there's a story in the Bible about a character named Moses. And Moses is one of the biggest characters in the Hebrew text. Moses is the one that led the Israelites out of Egypt in slavery into the quote-unquote promised land through those 40 years in the desert. Moses was Jewish, but Moses grew up in the Pharaoh's house as the Pharaoh's grandson. Okay, I'm not going to, if I had more than 20 minutes, I'd tell you about how that happened. So we just, and let's just accept that as a fact, okay? He grew up in a very privileged position in the Pharaoh's house, but he was so outraged at how his people were being treated, he killed an Egyptian guard. Okay? Bible's full of murderers. I hate to tell you this. But it's true. He kills an Egyptian guard, and then he gets wind of the fact that people know he did it. So he gets out of Dodge. He gets like way out of Dodge. And he goes away, has this nice life, marries this nice woman, this big shepherd, black woman, by the way. Just saying. And then he gets this call. He gets this call. We call it the burning bush. But the bush wasn't burning. The bush was aflame but not being consumed. And he gets this call to go back to Egypt to free his people. And he's like, you know, why me, all the rest of that. But if I had more time, I'd get into that. But the point of the matter is it had to be him. Get what I'm saying? Because not only was he Jewish, he was raised in the Pharaoh's house. He knew the deal. He knew how to deal with the Pharaoh. Are you with me? Barack Obama was raised in the Pharaoh's house. His mother was white, Midwestern. I contend if he'd been a brother from Chicago, he'd have probably never been president. But he had a compassion, he had a place of understanding. Gandhi was an English lawyer. Okay? He was up against the English, but he was an English lawyer. Are you following where I'm going? You know, Martin Luther King Jr., he got his divinity from Boston University in the Christian faith. Okay? So there's this way where that becomes necessary. It was mentioned in our opening prayer here about for such a time as this. It's another one of these situations from the Bible. It comes from the book of Esther, where Esther, Jewish, she becomes a bride of the king. Stuff about to go down again. And the uncle Mordecai, who puts her up for that, tells her, come out the closet. King doesn't know she's Jewish. Come out the closet. Use that privilege. Use that entitlement that you have. Because who knows, maybe you are his wife right now for
such a time as this.
Such a time as this. Listen to what I'm saying. We've run from a lot of things. Moses got out of Dodge. Esther, busy hiding in the closet. We are in a for such a time as this moment. Okay. I was raised in the Pharaoh's house, the belly of the beast of the Pentecostal church, in diverse Los Angeles. And yet I'm a metaphysical Bible instructor because I knew a lot of Bible. But you have to heal. Get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like you got to heal. You got to get over it. Now on the collective purpose place, we read the stuff about what it is that we're doing, this world that we are creating. Okay? We're birthing something. Yes?
Yeah.
And the pushback, the crazies that we're seeing out in the social political environment are a pushback against what we're birthing.
Yes.
Okay? Listen to what I'm saying. It's a pushback against what we're birthing. Now, I know a lot of people get overwhelmed. I don't want to look at the news and all that like really depresses me and all. Fine. It is not a requirement to look at the news. It is a requirement to pray.
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying. The requirement and our purpose at this point in time is to help this baby live.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Our prayers are mother's milk. Our prayers are mother's milk. If listening to the news is going to get you off your game and you can't pray, don't listen to the news. But not listening to the news is no excuse not to pray. Okay?
Yeah.
I listen to the news to inform me about what to pray for. So I use the news as a prayer request. Because that's my purpose. That's not everybody's purpose. Get what I'm saying? I'm not asking you to be out in the streets with me. I'm not asking you to be me. I'm asking you to do you. Okay, you do you. Whatever that is, that looks like. But riding this out right now, putting that head in the sand, that is not a choice. It's not a choice. I'm reminded now of it was just so stunning when it happened. Actually, some of you in the room were there. Interlight had been doing prison outreach for like 20 years, and primarily at Pleasant Valley State Prison for men in Coalinga. One of the people that we were partnered with the most was a Muslim American society, which was very interesting doing that right after 9/11. Buying them Qurans and all the rest of that. Ooh, yeah, anyway. So their lead, the Imam Michael Salam, would have these interfaith celebrations and Muslim events and whatnot. And I never would forget, there was this one time he was trying to explain a little bit of what I'm talking about, and he used this analogy. He said, every baby that is born has one language. Wah! Wah! He says, but you have a sense of oneness with the baby, and you figure it out. You know which wah means what. This is, I'm wet, I'm hungry, pick me up, I'm sleepy. And he just went through it, and then he just stood there and said, when did you stop hearing my cry? When did you stop hearing my cry? We birthed a baby collectively that's crying for our milk. It's crying to survive. This isn't about politics. I'm talking consciousness. We're in an energetic thing here. What's going to be the highest frequency? Where are we going to calibrate up to? And too many of us are worried that we're going to be impacted and recalibrate down. I don't care what you have to do to stay up. If you got to go be a monk in an ashram, pack now. But up we must all stay. Up we must all stay. It's not about what you do on the outside. It's about what you do on the inside. Because if you are out in the streets and protesting, but in your mind you are in fear, you're still part of the problem. We need you upstairs. Are you with me? You going to stay upstairs? So before I close out, there's an upstairs event. It's going to be happening at 1:30 at the Resource Center for Nonviolence with Interlight. The exquisite musical shaman who was with you last week, Mr. Jamie Lula, is in the house. We show him some love. And for an hour, Jamie is going to be leading us through a musical healing journey. With music and sound and prayer and meditation. It is not a concert. It's not a workshop. It's an experience. Okay? Because even mama needs self-care. Mama can't keep feeding the baby if mama doesn't take care of herself. So we have a moment of some real self-care there before we do our usual first Sunday at 3 o'clock. And actually, Jamie's going to be doing that with me. We're going to do it as an interview, talking about this stuff, like how do we turn these trying moments into our triumph. Not run away from it, but run into it and transform it. You know, so I invite you to that. Let's just all take a breath. Let's take another breath. In this moment right now, I'm knowing that the promise of every spiritual tradition is not that you get to live in the rose garden. The promise is resilience. The promise is that you can resurrect. The promise is that you can rise above. Because there's only one power, there's only one presence. There's only one thing being itself at all times. And in that moment right now, we unify with it. In that moment right now, we accept it as our very life, our very being. We yield. We yield. It's like being on a freeway where you just slow down a little bit. And you let something else go ahead of you. You're willing to cede your right to just jump in there to something else. We yield our will. We yield our volition to divine order and right action so that the Spirit of the living God goes before us, making the rough places smooth, the crooked places straight. I speak my word. I speak my word of fulfillment for the promise that all of the things that we say that we believe in, all the tenets, all the tools, it's not something that we're trying to create. It already exists. We're just birthing it. Creating the fertile soil to allow it to be. The health that we seek is already God's good pleasure. It's who we are. It's our spiritual DNA. We call it forth. We call forth the health. We call forth the vigor, the vitality, the strength, the courage. We call forth the reconciliation, the resilience. We call forth the clarity, the peace, the power, the abundance, the balance. We call forth the community and the compassion and the love. It's hidden right there. Peace is in the eye of the storm. Judging not by appearances, we see. We will not be fooled. And it is with this faith, it is with this courage that I bless this spiritual community. I bless all seekers of truth everywhere, regardless of what affiliation or non-affiliation. I just know that there's only one of us here. I declare that to be good. Very, very good. We get out of the way. We allow it to be, and so it is. Amen. Amen and shalom. Peace unto you.